The prince wrested the dagger from my throat with bare hands, blood dripping from his palm. "Mandy, did you think I truly didn't know who you were?" he rasped. "All I've ever wanted in this life is you, this counterfeit shadow. Nothing else." Years later, when he ascended the throne and ruled the realm, I slit his throat with that same dagger as I stood crowned in imperial regalia. "Ethan," I whispered to his dying breath, "what I desired was never golden phoenix crowns or jade seals. It was this empire you cherished above all." Chapter 1. I awoke reborn. Moments ago, the Williams family had been exterminated by the Crown Prince's decree, mother and younger sister strangled with white silk before my eyes. My last memory was the cold bite of steel across my own throat. Now I found myself years earlier, lounging in mother's sunlit parlor where the scent of sandalwood still lingered. There knelt Yvonne, my exquisite elder sister with her porcelain features and serpent's heart, sobbing theatrically at our mother's feet. Rage surged through me at the sight of that face mirroring mine, the very countenance that doomed our family in our past life. As before, Yvonne begged permission to marry Jake, the rugged captain from father's garrison who'd caught her eye during autumn hunts. Father despised the man, seeing through his martial charm to the ambition beneath. Mother scoffed at his low birth. Yet Yvonne persisted, threatening to elope until her knees bruised from kneeling. Memories flooded back, how Jake used our family's influence to rise from obscure captain to warlord commanding northern armies. His eventual betrayal through alliance with western barbarians. Ethan's brutal counterstroke that left our entire lineage dangling from executioner's ropes. I leapt from the divan, ready to shake sense into this lovesick fool. But Yvonne's fingers dug into my wrists with unnatural strength. "It's not too late, sister." Her eyes burned with fanatic clarity. "I've returned through death's veil. Last life, Ethan framed Jake's rebellion. This time, we'll make Jake king and I his queen." The truth chilled me. Yvonne too carried memories of blood and betrayal. Yet instead of repentance, she clung tighter to her delusion. "Don't you see?" she hissed. "Ethan slaughtered me when I ran to what I thought was Jake's banner. His blade took everything, even my corpse-fed wolves." I recoiled from her feverish grip. However fate twisted, Yvonne remained ensnared by Jake's lies, willing to stake our family's lives on his ambition. As she swept from the room in silken defiance, I understood salvation wouldn't come through reason. To save the Williams bloodline, I'd need to outmaneuver both my sister and the prince destined to destroy us. Just like in my past life, Yvonne Williams threatened to take her own life to force her parents into agreeing to marry Jake Young, playing along with her wishes to maintain surveillance. I pretended to support this lavish wedding arrangement. True to form, Jake's ambitions surfaced soon after the engagement. My father and brothers, decorated war heroes defending the northern borders, had earned imperial trust as dukes of the northern frontier commanding the northern garrisons. Jake's political fortunes soared after aligning with our Williams family, his network expanding through military and noble circles until his influence rivaled ours. When Censor-in-Chief Walter Lewis arrived at our estate claiming to visit my absent father, suspicion took root. My past life memories hinted at Jake's rebellion being enabled by a close family ally, likely Walter. Slipping into an adjacent chamber, I eavesdropped through a concealed peephole as Jake and Walter plotted treason with Western spies. Yvonne's untimely interruption nearly exposed me. Her lovesick murmurs of "Jake, it's me" masked my presence as she brought tea to her fiancé. Later, I planted a rescued noblewoman as Walter's mistress to intercept their treasonous correspondence. The damning letters secured, I urged father to present them to Emperor Ethan Sinclair immediately. These documents prove Jake's betrayal. I pressed. Only swift action can save our Williams family from imperial wrath. Father grimaced. The crown suspects all connected to Jake. For the court to believe our loyalty, Yvonne herself must denounce him, sacrificing her marriage to expose his crimes. My perfect plan unraveled when underestimating Yvonne's single-minded devotion. Even as evidence mounted, my sister's reckless heart threatened to undo everything. The political chessboard shifted daily, each move requiring recalculations to protect our family from palace intrigues and Jake's growing web of deception. I froze for a moment, then realized the truth. Father's foresight is truly unmatched. Mandy has been short-sighted. Yvonne and I were twin sisters, united in purpose. Saving the Williams family was our shared duty. True enough. When father presented irrefutable evidence to Emperor Ethan, the ruler's wrath shook the palace. Overnight, Walter and Jake's entire clans were executed, along with hundreds of accomplices. Though our Williams family had close ties to both condemned houses, father shrewdly testified that Yvonne, upon noticing her fiancé Jake's suspicious activities, had ordered her trusted maid to investigate. Her righteous betrayal of family ties secured the damning evidence. Yvonne's calculated move absolved our family completely. The emperor not only pardoned us but commended father and Yvonne for their loyalty. I thought losing Jake would only briefly trouble Yvonne. After all, family honor outweighs personal grief. I underestimated her. When Emperor Ethan proposed making Yvonne the crown princess to Prince Ethan, I knew disaster loomed. Jake's execution had cemented Yvonne's hatred for royalty. As someone reborn from a life where Prince Ethan's sword severed her throat, she'd sooner die than marry her murderer. True to form, Yvonne shattered every antique in her chamber. You and Mandy took Jake from me, father. I'll honor his memory in seclusion, but force me to wed that butcher prince? Her eyes glinted dangerously. I'll slit his throat given half a chance. Father paled. Refusing the imperial decree would invite suspicion. Yet Yvonne cared nothing for family survival. Suddenly, Yvonne shoved me against the wall, her smile venomous. Since you're so devoted to the Williams legacy, Mandy, you marry the crown prince. The honor she offered was poison. Prince Ethan's reputation chilled the kingdom, cold, cruel, and haunted by rumors of dead concubines. Though crown princess was the highest station, noble families recoiled from the title. Yvonne and I remembered our past lives too clearly. I'd seen Prince Ethan's sword pierce her heart, watched wild dogs devour her corpse. Our family's generations of military service meant nothing when he exterminated us like vermin. My 6-year-old sister included. He might become history's greatest monarch. But Prince Ethan was no man's safe harbor. Even now, his blood-stained silhouette in black robes haunted my nightmares, the smile that never reached his icy eyes as he swung his blade. Yet my own sister wanted me chained to this monster. Her gaze promised death. If Prince Ethan killed me, she'd count it vengeance served. Seeing our parents' despair, I swallowed the bitterness. I'll take her place, I whispered. From today, I'm Yvonne Williams, first daughter of the Williams dynasty, the future crown princess. My fate is something I must take into my own hands. The extravagant wedding feels like a dream, leaving me dazed. As the red veil lifts, candlelight illuminates the face of a man so flawlessly handsome it steals my breath, chiseled features, starry eyes radiating refined elegance. Ethan Sinclair, with his peerless grace and nobility, should have been the fantasy of every maiden's springtime dreams. Yet beneath that jade-like exterior lies the heart of a venomous serpent and hands crueler than iron. He tilts my chin, studying me before sneering. The eldest daughter of the Williams family, the Northern Marquis, betraying her own fiancé to seize the Lee family's wealth and influence. Quite the scheme. My chest tightens as if pierced by his gaze. I bite back the scathing retort bubbling within, remembering my role as Yvonne Williams, the gentle, poetry-loving heiress, not Mandy who grew up wielding swords on northern battlefields. Lowering my eyes, I murmur, "You flatter me, Your Highness. Serving our ruler is but our family's duty." Ethan's lips brush my ear as he pulls me against him. Duty or treachery matters little now. As my lawful wife, you'll share my solitary path to the throne. Yvonne, see that you prove worthy. His obsidian eyes hold bottomless shadows. I meet his gaze with a serene smile. Rest assured, Your Highness, I shall exceed your expectations. Serving a ruler is like taming a tiger. Yet Ethan reminds me more of a wolf lurking in shadows. Born to Emperor's childhood sweetheart Emily Woods, the late Empress from three-generation statesman family, Ethan was crowned prince at 12 after his mother's mysterious death. The Emperor's lavish posthumous honors and unwavering favor toward the Woods family are legendary. Yet I've come to see the cracks in this golden narrative. Ethan rarely receives imperial summons. Each palace return leaves him brooding in darkened chambers. Tonight, when his blade nearly cleaves a servant's skull, I bring rice congee to his study. The dagger at my throat gleams coldly as I speak. Her Majesty the late Empress wouldn't wish this estrangement between father and son to destabilize the realm. Ethan's grip tightens. What do you know of it? Your anguish after every palace visit. This dagger, too ornate for battle. Clearly a royal lady's keepsake. You blame His Majesty over Empress Emily's death and consort Sophia's rise. The blade withdraws. Ethan traces the jeweled hilt. Childhood sweethearts? A lie. My mother exhausted the Woods family's resources to secure his throne. Her health ruined bearing me. That viper Sophia poisoned her while he turned blind eyes. He knew, yet protected his concubine, letting my mother die unjustly. His voice cracks. Darkness swirls in his eyes. Centuries-old bitterness condensed into this moment. I see not the crown prince, but a boy who watched his world crumble at 12. My fingers brush his clenched fist, an instinctive gesture Mandy would make. Not Yvonne. He freezes, then crushes me in an embrace smelling of ink and unshed tears. Later, I stare at moonlit bedchambers, fingering the military token hidden beneath my cosmetics case. Jake's parting words echo, Mandy, don't lose yourself in this masquerade. But the real danger isn't forgetting, it's the treacherous part of me that wishes this fragile understanding with Ethan weren't merely acting. The scheming concubine finally succeeded. Yet he maintained a facade of undying devotion, silencing public dissent while demanding praise for his counterfeit affections. Kneeling at his feet, I gazed up at him tenderly. Your Highness's longing for your mother resonates deeply with me. I murmured. But the late Empress Mandy lived solely for the Emperor. Seeing father and son estranged would disturb her eternal rest. My fingers brushed against Ethan's whitened knuckles as I removed the dagger from his grip. Bide your time until coronation day. I whispered, placing the blade on the table. All debts will be settled when you claim the throne. Ethan turned those frost-gray eyes on me. We remained locked in silent confrontation until his shoulders finally relaxed. The dagger slid across the table into my palm. You're right, Yvonne, he said, the rare warmth in his voice belying his next words. When I ascend, every traitor will meet the steel. The weapon's cold weight reminded me of its previous owner. In my past life, I'd watched Ethan slaughter my family with this very blade. My father's final roar still echoed in my memory. Our Williams family served the crown faithfully. Yet you let this tyrant rule. Ethan had flicked blood from the sword with that chilling smile. You mistake the true tyrant. General. The late Emperor's betrayal killed your precious ruler. Rejoice, you'll share his glorious end. Now, preparing for history's repetition, I knew Ethan's chefs and physicians already conspired for regicide. The Emperor's days were numbered. Though Ethan inherited his mother's dagger, he bore none of Empress Mandy's warmth. Yet I painstakingly mimicked her every mannerism, the way she danced beneath palace eaves, the herbal soups she'd prepared despite scorched fingers. When I finally replicated her signature broth, Ethan's mask slipped. His thumb traced my healing burns. This pleases me, Yvonne, he murmured, that dangerous softness returning to his voice. Most days found Ethan consumed by crises, northern invasions, southern floods, rebel uprisings. The palace trembled under his volatile temper. Seizing opportunity, I summoned my father and brother. Withdraw troops to Jade Mountain Pass, I urged. The western nomads will take the bait. Father frowned. Their new warlords too cunning. Target their golden-helmed commander. I insisted, remembering the ambush that nearly killed him last life. And never remove your armor during night battles. As they departed, I clung to father's knees. Beware traitors in our ranks. The warning barely escaped my tightening throat. Survival required perfect execution of both military strategy and my role as Mandy's living shadow. Though puzzled, father and Ethan agreed. As father was leaving the manor, I called him back and whispered clearly in his ear. No matter the outcome of the war, the Williams family must never relinquish military control to the court. Remember this. Later, father indeed crushed the Western Liang elite troops at Jade Mountain as I'd foreseen. Unexpectedly, they captured the newly enthroned Western Liang emperor who'd been hiding among the ranks. Chaos erupted in the Western Liang court, eliminating any threat to our kingdom. The northern borders secured. My family's military achievements delighted the ailing emperor, who granted father command of an additional 1,000,000 troops at West Pass. The Williams family's influence became unshakable. With the northern threat neutralized, Ethan's mood improved. One day after returning from palace duties, he strode into my sitting room. I hastily hid my clumsily embroidered sachet. He frowned slightly before tossing a greasy paper package into my lap. Chestnut cakes from the West Quarter. I'd loved these since childhood, always begging my brother to fetch them, though I'd never mentioned this to Ethan. The sweet aroma reminded me of my brother, making my eyes misty. Don't be sentimental, he coughed. If you like them, I'll bring more. My needle stilled as I looked up. His sculpted profile flushed when our eyes met. What's that embroidery? Show me. Reluctantly, I produced the half-finished Mandarin duck pattern. Why are you stitching a one-legged chicken? He exclaimed. Outside, winter winds howled, but warmth blossomed in our chamber. As the emperor's health declined, the Woods and Lee factions intensified their power struggle. The Woods clan, backed by Crown Prince Ethan, clashed with the Lees who leveraged Sophia's imperial favor. Though Ethan respected his late mother's family, he grew wary of his uncle's ambition. Beneath crimson bed curtains, I smoothed his furrowed brow. Your Highness needn't worry. He pressed my fingers to his lips. Tension lingering. Casually I remarked. History warns against imperial in-laws gaining undue power. Both Woods and Lee's overreach through royal connections. Rather than chastise my political commentary, he sighed. My fingertips traced his jaw. The solution's simple: cultivate a third faction to balance them. The tripartite rule ensures stability. His eyes sharpened. I continued softly. Prefect Tim Chase of Poyang possesses integrity and talent. He once tutored me in classics before his frank criticism angered the emperor into exiling him. This unaffiliated man could serve your highness well. What Ethan didn't know was Tim's life debt to my father. In my past life, when catastrophe struck our family, only Tim dared intervene despite his modest position. Within weeks, Tim Chase returned to the capital as chief censor. Each move I made fortified the Williams family's defenses on this political chessboard. Though Ethan and I shared tender nights, his gentle words and attentive care couldn't erase the memory of his smiling face as he slaughtered my father, brothers, and clansmen in my past life. My mother and 6-year-old sister had been forced to hang themselves under his watchful gaze before I plunged a dagger into my own heart. That searing hatred still coiled like venom in my veins. I'd resigned myself to this hollow charade of marital bliss when I discovered my pregnancy. The capital buzzed with rumors about the icy crown prince's transformation, how he doted obsessively on his princess. From rare delicacies to lavish silks, Mandy received the empire's finest treasures, outshining even the imperial concubines. Ethan cleared his schedule daily to accompany her, whether strolling through bustling markets or fetching chestnut cakes from across the city until she grew sick of them. When noblewomen proposed becoming his consorts, he publicly humiliated them with refusals. Will you still reject concubines after ascending the throne? I teased, twirling a dagger. His flinch told me he remembered his mother's tragic life as neglected queen. Mandy, he murmured into my hair. If I become emperor, you'll reign as my sole empress. No consorts, ever. Promise me you'll never lie to me. I buried my face against his chest, whispering agreement through tears. His fingers tangled in my hair. Just don't lie to me. That's all I ask. My heart constricted. Even the name Mandy was a lie. My deranged sister Yvonne arrived days later with our mother. She seethed at seeing me lounging in jeweled splendor. Enjoying the luxury bought with Jake's blood? She hissed. Mother snapped. Address your elder sister properly. Yvonne's eyes glittered with malice. Remember, Mandy, you owe me Jake's life. The palace spy's report confirmed my fears. Yvonne had exposed our family's deception to the emperor. With the ailing sovereign delegating affairs to Ethan, the evidence now sat in my husband's hands. I raced to the Williams estate through back alleys, desperation chilling my veins. The massacre from my past life loomed again, this time. I'd rewrite our fate. My mother was startled when she saw me return unexpectedly. Ignoring her confusion, I demanded sharply, "Where's Yvonne?" She numbly pointed toward the Williams family mansion's rear courtyard. I rushed to my sister's chambers, summoning my elite guards to secure all exits. Kicking open her door, I found Yvonne preening before her mirror with smug satisfaction. "Mandy, what are you doing?" she cried, retreating 2 steps at my murderous glare. "Yvonne," I advanced. "Since you've been reborn, did you witness our entire Williams family being slaughtered by the Crown Prince's orders? Did you watch mother and little sister strangled with silk cords? See father and brothers left headless in the streets?" Her face paled as I hissed. "All because of your precious Jake." She trembled violently. "Mandy, how could you know Dash? Did you think you were the only one reborn?" I sneered, staring at our identical faces. Last life's catastrophe made me scheme endlessly to protect our family. I had Jake killed to prevent his betrayal. I married that viper Ethan myself to shield our men from his schemes, playing the loving wife while maneuvering against palace intrigues where one misstep brings ruin. My voice turned glacial. Yet you? Knowing Jake's rebellion would doom us all, you aided him anyway. When father secured imperial pardon by crediting you with exposing traitors, you refused the emperor's order to become crown princess, forcing me to take your place. Now you'd have us all executed for deceiving the throne? The white silk coiled around her neck as she gasped. Only one Williams daughter needs to survive. Whether she's called Yvonne or Mandy matters little. The struggling ceased. Our matching features now stared back, one set lifeless and blue-tinged. Collapsing breathless, I heard mother's tear-choked voice behind me. "Hang her from the beams." Her tear-streaked face held steely resolve. Announced second young Miss Williams' suicide. Slipping back into the Sinclair residence through hidden passages, I scrambled to change clothes. My maid signaled Ethan already awaited in our chambers. Steeling myself, I entered to find him feigning sleep amidst liquor fumes. His voice froze my blood. "Mandy. Finally home." I collapsed trembling as he sat up. Features unreadable. "Did you kill your sister at the Williams estate?" My entire body trembled as I bit my lip in silence. His gaze swept over my abdomen. Truly cunning and ruthless. As expected from the legitimate daughter of General Williams, the Northern Guardian. All that fragile innocence was an act, wasn't it? My heart turned to ashes. Even after rebirth, could the Williams family never escape charges of treason and destruction? Thinking of father, my brothers, mother, and little sister, I steeled myself, drawing the dagger Ethan Sinclair had gifted me. I pressed its icy edge against my throat. "Your Highness, all crimes were committed by Mandy alone. My family knew nothing. I forced father to let me take Yvonne's place in marriage, driven by ambition. When my sister threatened to expose the truth, I silenced her to protect my position as crown princess. My sins demand death. I beg you spare the Williams family in memory of our marital bond. Ethan's hand shot out without hesitation, grasping the blade to wrench it from my grasp. Blood streamed from his palm as he discarded the weapon. Mandy, did you truly think I'd never discover your identity after all this time? What I desire in this lifetime is you, the imposter. Nothing else matters. He produced Yvonne's letter from his robes, casually tossing it into the brazier. Flames consumed my sister's elegant script. Whether you're Mandy or Yvonne, you alone are worthy to share my empire. 3 months later, the emperor succumbed to old poison. Ethan ascended the throne, crowning me his queen. The vast imperial harem remained empty but for me. True to his word, Ethan showered me with devotion. When our first son arrived, a rosy-cheeked infant with my features and his father's piercing eyes, the emperor declared him crown prince before his first birthday. Yet royal affection proves fickle. As the Williams clan commanded millions of troops guarding northern borders while the Chase family restrained the Woods and Lee factions at court, my influence grew too formidable. Ethan's trust curdled into suspicion. During the 3rd year of Qingmin reign, my second brother perished in Nine Bend Gorge after crushing northern rebels, royal guards insignia found on the assassins. Night after night, I relived Ethan's smiling blade severing my family's heads in our past life. Dark epiphany struck, while the emperor breathed. The Williams family would never know peace. In Qingmin's 5th year, our son turned 5. I entered Ethan's bedchamber with his mother's dagger. The blade he'd once gifted me slid across his throat like silk. Blood gushed forth. In his eyes, there was little surprise. It was only natural. His mother, the queen, had been murdered by a favored concubine. His father, the emperor, had been slowly poisoned to death by his own hand. Now, he met his end at the hands of the empress he had doted on endlessly, Mandy. Such was the way of royalty, how could it be difficult to accept? His expression remained calm as a faint sigh escaped his chest. With his last ounce of strength, he raised his hand and placed a soft, worn object into my palm. It was a yellowed sachet, its crude stitches forming what might charitably be called a one-legged chicken. I held back tears and closed his eyes. Ethan, I whispered, but in this life, I never wanted golden crowns or imperial seals. I wanted your empire. In the 5th year of Qingmin's reign, the previous emperor died suddenly, and a 5-year-old boy ascended the throne. Dowager Empress Mandy ruled as regent, while the Williams family's Lord Protector held power as the de facto ruler. The Williams clan's dominance was absolute, unchallenged across the land. Standing atop the city gates, I gazed at the vast expanse of territory stretching to the horizon. A low, rasping voice seemed to whisper in my ear, Mandy, this boundless realm, only you are worthy to claim it.